There's a reason Disneyland gets crowded when it does, and we're going to talk all about those reasons, plus when it's the absolute most crowded at the parks and much more, so let's get started. I'm talking all things crowds this month since summer is coming up and it only gets more crowded from there. That's why today I'm going to talk you through the most crowded times to go to Disneyland and what you need to know if you're going during those times. Okay, firstly, I have yet to find a perfect crowd forecasting calendar that's 100% accurate, and quite frankly, I don't think we'll ever have that because at the end of the day, humans can be very unpredictable. I do have my ways of figuring things out, and that will be in one of my next videos coming up. So if you're interested in that, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel so you'll see that when it does come out. But historically speaking, there are times that will always be very busy and very crowded at Disneyland in a very dependable way. Really quick though, let's talk about what your park experience will actually look like if you are going to be there during very crowded times. What a really crowded and busy day looks like at Disneyland and Disney California Adventure would be ride waits no less than 20 minutes, but usually in the 60-minute range, and it wouldn't even be surprising to hit over the 100-minute range for the more popular rides. Which means you'll probably only average about 4 to 6 rides per day, give or take their popularity. You will not be able to hit all the rides, so don't set yourself up for that kind of disappointment. You'll really need to prioritize which ones are the most important to you and your group. And if you're going with a large group, you'll fit even less rides in due to all the logistics that can be involved with that kind of a situation. Food waits will be intense. Mobile orders may not be available for pickup for 1 to 2 hours. Standby lines may actually be faster than mobile order lines, but it will still be a good 20 minutes plus standing in line. If you haven't made dining reservations already, walk-up will be nearly impossible. The viewing spots for all of the shows will fill up very fast, so you'll need to snag a spot an hour or so out from each show. Hotel prices will double and sometimes even triple during those really crowded and busy times of the year. It's very possible you'll see backed up security lines as well as at the entrance gates, so have your bags and strollers ready for inspection and make sure you have your tickets and a screenshot of your tickets just in case the internet's not working. Make sure you've reserved your day at the park on top of buying your tickets. I still see people getting turned away at the gates for this, and on a busy day, you probably won't be able to snag a last-minute reservation, so cross those T's and dot those I's on all of those logistical things so you don't add disappointment on top of disappointment, or find yourself not even being able to get into the park. I did make a video all about this subject, just barely, giving you 5 pro tips for visiting Disneyland when it's busy. I'll put a link to it at the end of this video. It just has some good, solid, quick tips for you. Okay, let's move on to the most busy times at the park. Firstly, let's talk about the most crowded season overall at the parks. And that would be summer, of course. From grad nights in June to the 4th of July, especially if it falls on a weekend, Disneyland's birthday, conventions going on at the Anaheim Convention Center, and of course summer breaks for schools. Summer will be the most busy season to visit Disneyland. Now that being said, there are still some times within the summer season that shouldn't be too bad. You can check out my Summer at Disneyland video for more details on that, but summer will also have the most to offer as far as long hours, the least ride closures, and an all-hands-on-deck time of year, so all is not lost during this time. Just remember the water, the sunblock, and a little patience. Next, let's talk about the busiest and most crowded months. The absolute busiest is December, of course. This is, of course, due to it being the holiday season. Schools go on break, offices slow down their work schedules, family and friends are looking for places to get together and celebrate, and it's incredibly magical this time of year there. There's so much extra being offered. You have the parades and the fireworks, street shows, seasonal foods, as well as the Festival of the Holidays over in Disney California Adventure. It's easy to understand why people flock to Disneyland at this time. If you want to visit the parks during this time, I can't recommend highly enough to book your trip as early as possible. This is the only way you're going to get guaranteed choice on hotels and dining reservations, as well as possibly better prices before demand drives those prices sky high. You will see Disneyland at its absolute busiest from the week right before Christmas all the way to New Year's, and a little bit after New Year's as well. I mean, we're talking crazy busy.
So on the count of 3, everyone please join together in saying Happy Holidays. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy Holidays! And a very pleasant evening to one and all from the merriest place on earth.
The next busiest month is what I like to call Spring Break month, which is mid-March to mid-April. Thanks to, you guessed it, spring break. Also Easter, people wanting to escape the winter and feel that California sun, and the Food and Wine Festival. Because of this festival, you will see Disney California Adventure Park reservations fill up way faster than Disneyland reservations. This is due to locals and foodies alike flocking to DCA to get their nosh on and their drink on, while enjoying a ride or two along the way. If spending extra money on fun and different tasty bites isn't your cup of tea, I highly suggest planning on the majority of your spring break trip being planned in Disneyland proper, at least during lunch and dinner times where it gets the most crowded. You will also probably have a few ride closures at this time since it's still refurb season, which will consolidate lines and make them longer. And last but not least, we have the month of October, especially during fall break. I'll talk more about fall break in just a moment, but between the parks being decked out for fall and Halloween and the special ticketed event, the Oogie Boogie Bash happening in DCA, the parks can be surprisingly busy during this month. For real, people are always caught off with how busy it is. But if you like all things spooky and pumpkin spice, this is a must-see time of year for you. If you're a massive Halloween and Disney fan, I highly suggest buying tickets for the Oogie Boogie Bash, which usually go on sale in June sometime and sell out in days. If you can snag a ticket for this event, it's worth the extra effort. I will say the one exception to October being the busiest is Halloween Day. Halloween Day at Disneyland proper is usually quite empty. And if you go on the following days after Halloween, it will be very empty and you'll see the transition from Halloween to Christmas. It's very exciting. Otherwise, be prepared for hot and busy days during the month of October. I do want to mention some of the most crowded days and weeks at Disneyland and Disney California Adventure. The week of Christmas to New Year's is hands down the most crowded time to go. It's no joke. Only go if you know what you're doing. That's what kind of a week it is. Do not plan your first trip ever on this week. It's nuts, and not for the first timer. If you've never been to Disneyland or you haven't gone for a long time and you want to go during the holiday season, I highly suggest going the end of November, early December, as long as it's not the week of Thanksgiving. Next is fall break weekends, both from Orange County schools and the neighboring states like Arizona and Utah. They change every year, but can be expected to be either on the second or third weekend in October. These weekends are insanely crowded. And when you add on the Oogie Boogie Bash crowds on top of that, it's an hour-long security line just to get in crazy. You will really need a solid plan to visit during these weekends. Also, the last week of March and the week before Easter are always notably more busy and crowded than even the regular spring break crowds. There are some unofficial holidays and events that can seriously pack in the crowds and make it so busy and surprise the unknowing guests. The events for these days change from year to year and will not be able to be found on Disney's website, so you're going to have to Google search them to find out the dates for the year you're going. These events are Dapper Days, usually held sometime in the middle of April. Gay Days, usually held in September. In 2023, it will be the 22nd through the 24th. On September 9th, 10th, and 12th, you'll also have the D23 Expo, which will bring massive crowds to the parks. And finally, the Candlelight Precessional, held at Disneyland proper, which is a semi-private event that is pretty secretive and usually not promoted in any way, but brings in crowds, the kind of crowds that make you want to pull out your hair. And it's all right at the entrance of Disneyland in the front of the train station and town hall, so it's hard to get past. I'll need to do a video on this event because it is a very unique and cool experience if you know what's up and if you know what you're doing. But if you're surprised by it, it can be a serious vacation crasher. Again, this is pretty hush-hush, so locking down the exact dates is tricky, but it usually happens the first Saturday and Sunday in December. And like I said, if you somehow get to experience it, it's super cool. But if you don't, I suggest either missing those days or staying very far away from the entrance of the park on those nights. Okay friends, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you want more helpful tips and videos like this. Be kind to cast members and be kind to yourself. Take care, and I'll see you again real soon.